In this tutorial you will need some orange DK yarn. You also need a 22 pin knitting machine. You will need 2 darning needles. You will also need a pair of scissors. And then you will also need some polyfill. Finally, you'll need I-cord in 2 colours, brown and green. So let's get started. First, you will need to cast on using the tube mode on your machine. We will go in and out, backwards and forwards of each pin to cast on correctly. Ensure you put your yarn through your yarn feeder and reset your row counter. Now we are going to crank the machine for 50 rows. Okay, so I will meet you all back here once we have all reached 50 rows on our row counter on the machine. Okay, so now we're back. We should now have 50 rows on our row counter. What I'm now doing is I'm cutting the thread. I'm leaving a long strand so we have enough to cast off. I'll open my yarn feeder and I will put my yarn through a darning needle and then remove the yarn from the yarn feeder. What I'll now do is I'll slowly crank the machine just to expose a few of the little loops on the machine, and I will put the needle through each small loop, pulling out the thread, and this is how we cast off the machine. We'll go through one by one, making sure we get the little loops on the machine. We will have to crank the machine round each time to expose more of the loops, but this is what will help us effectively get the project off the machine effectively. Right, so we now have our tube off the machine. What we need to do is just move the machine out of the way because we don't need that anymore. And now we need to make sure that we stretch the tube out lengthways and widthways to give it a good stretch. We'll now cinch both ends, and what I like to do is then fold the one end into the other, so it's technically like you're making one of the hats you've probably made before. We'll push that into one another, and then now we'll place that down, and we need to just grab our polyfill because now it's time to stuff our little pumpkin. So when you're using polyfill or stuffing, you need to make sure that you give it a good fluff out before you then stuff it inside your project, just so it can be accurate. Make sure that everything's firmly stuffed and looks nice and neat. Use as much or as little as you may need for what you feel like would be best for your pumpkin. There's no right or wrong for this. You can have a chunky pumpkin or a nice little squishy one. So now we need to cut a little bit of thread from the same colour yarn we've been using. I'll take about 20 centimetres of yarn and cut that, and then we'll add that to the darning needle. And what we're now going to do is we're going to create a cinch. So we're going to go in through the top on the rim, and we're going to go all the way around, threading through. Make sure you leave a good tail at the end because we're going to need that to pull the cinch tight, which will close the base of your pumpkin off. We'll go through each little bit, making sure that every loop is through, we're not snagging or making any mistakes. So now we've got both ends through, we need to remove the darning needle, pull both strands really tight and give it a squish just to shape it up a bit. We'll then tie double knot, and don't worry if you still see a little bit of stuffing through in your circle once you've tightened it isn't totally tight, because we will sew that in after as well to make sure everything is neat and tidy, closed off fully. But always ensure that you do give it a double knot just to be sure that it is tied off. Like I say, there will be like a little hole, but it's fine. We will now sew that up and it will disappear. So what I do once I've tied it all and sewn it all up, I put the yarn through and I sew it right through, put the needle all the way through so it's properly secured, and then I can cut that yarn bit off and it will be fully secured. And I will do that every time I'm adding yarn and sewing things in. It's a better way to hide it instead of having to weave your tails in, especially when you're doing a stuffy. It just works best. So again, with the top of the pumpkin, you will do the same. Put the yarn through your darning needle, make sure it's all cinched nice and tight, sew it together just to ensure that the closure has been fully done. And then again with before, I will put the needle all the way through the pumpkin, pull the yarn through and cut it off so it is totally secured. Right, so now we have a pumpkin shape. Give it a little squish around, shape it into how you'd like it to be, and then we're going to take some of our orange yarn and we're going to cut about 20 centimeters. We'll pop that under, and now we will go across and we're going to start making the little pumpkin ridged shapes. You could either leave it circle or do this step, so you could do it or skip it. It's totally fine, you know, there's no right or wrong answer to this. What I do is I tie it and then I do another tie to ensure that it's just secured enough. And then I will go on and I will add more pieces. I will cut more yarn and continue. This yarn length I've done a bit longer because then I could use it twice. It was more effective that way, to be honest, and it just gives it a better look. But definitely always double knot it, and you can start to see the pumpkin shape really begin to form now, which is really exciting as the project is so nearly done. So I'm going to take my final bit of yarn just to do that last one side to get it looking neat and secured. It really shows the shape of the pumpkin. Add in these strands, it's so cute. I mean, you can have it as a round pumpkin or one with the ribs in. I just absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. It gives it that extra little detail, but you know, you can always skip a step if you really would like to. It is a bit fiddly, but once you've done it a few times, it becomes second nature. What I now need to do is grab all my yarn ends, and like I did before when I had cinched and closed the ends, I will grab the yarn ends and I will sew them right through the pumpkin and then cut the ends off, and they will be all hidden, all the ends will be gone. Everything will be secure and nice and neat. So here we have it. This is our little pumpkin shape. So cute. You can give it a squish and shape it how you need to if needs be. What we now need is our brown I-cord. You can make I-cord on the caydo machine, on the circular knit machine. There's plenty of videos of how to do it online. We need to pull the little fluffs out, grab a strand, and then we will close the end of the I-cord by sewing through these 4 loops, which is hard to see on the brown yarn, but I do show you again when we get to the green, so do not fear. So for the other end of the brown, you want to pull enough of the yarn so you can then sew it onto your project. So please do make sure you leave a good amount of length so you can sew in after. Once you've got enough length as you will require, pop that through on your darning needle and then close the ends of the I-cord through the 4 little loops that are on there. Right, so now we're going to sew the I-cord onto the pumpkin. We need to weave through both the pumpkin and the I-cord. If you can see, we go through both bits just to secure it on nicely. And I'll go backwards and forwards with this just a good few times just to ensure that it is secured, it is on there. And then after, I'll go through and tie a few knots to tie it off. So now I'm just going to feed the yarn and the darning needle right through the pumpkin. This will help me then secure the yarn, it's fed through, and then I can cut that off. Now we need to take the yarn end on the top of the I-cord. And what I do is I put the yarn right through with the darning needle, through the middle of the I-cord, straight through to the base of the pumpkin. Now you can have this stem as tall as you want, as tightened as you want. Either or, it's absolutely up to you of how you'd like your pumpkin to look. I've gone and given mine a little curl, and then I will just cut that bit off. And then we can move on to our next step, which is just adding a nice little curly bit, which is so exciting. So we've got our green bit of I-cord now. And this is the fun part. We need to make sure that we have more length than what you would expect to have, because I'm going to teach you how to make a nice little curly swirly. It's so cute, and you can use this little method for so many things like octopus tentacles, many things. You need to make sure that you pull a very long yarn end for this, if not it will not work. You then need to pop your yarn on a darning needle and close the ends of the I-cord going through the 4 little loops that we have there, and then we'll pull it tight. So now we put the darning needle all all the way through the tube of the I-cord. Feed it through. It can be a little bit fiddly, but if you just keep working with it and manoeuvring things, you'll get it through. We just need the thread to go through, as that is what's going to help us get our really cute curls. It's such a fun little trick that I'd learned, and I had to share it with you all. And what better way to do it than a pumpkin, as you know, Halloween is coming up soon, so it's so exciting. What I now do is I grab the second darning needle for this, and I'll pull a little bit of a strand on the end of the other part of the I-cord. We have to leave the strand that we'd pulled through it on there. We're going to put the darning needle on, and we're going to close that end of the I-cord and then sew that yarn tail through the middle. Try not to get confused of what tail's what. You need your very long tail through the middle of this I-cord for this little hack to work. Right, so once you've weaved that yarn tail through, we just give that a little stretch and cut it off. And now the exciting part. Let's make our little curls. So we just pull that very nice long yarn tail we had, give it a nice pull, and you can loosen it, tighten it, have it literally however you'd like. Work with it, you know, just play about with it, shape it to how you want, but it makes the cutest little shapes. And then from that we will sew it directly onto the pumpkin, just like we did with the stem. And that's what will help it secure it in place, so once you've got your curl how you'd like it, it won't really come undone because you're going to secure it once you've sewn through a few times. So definitely just, you know, give it a little workaround, play with it. You can make it as long or as short as you like. Honestly, it's totally your choice when it comes to these little pumpkins. They're so cute. It's so versatile. So what I'm now doing is I'm going through the orange part of the pumpkin and through the I-cord on the green I-cord. And I'll keep doing that a good few times just to ensure that it's totally secured. So now we are practically finished with this bit. I'm just manoeuvring it all about, playing about with it. And then what I'll do is, like I have done with the rest of the project, I'll pop the yarn through a few more times, tie it off, and then I will place it right through the centre of the pumpkin. We'll go through, secure the ends, and then cut it off. And there we have it, a cute little pumpkin. How adorable is that? And you can make it in just under 20 minutes. The more you make, the quicker you do get. You can make your I-cord up and have so much in length, so you can do lots and lots in a go. I will be doing another recording of a larger pumpkin on the 40 pin and the 48 pin machines. But here they are. How adorable are these little pumpkins? Thank you all for watching. See you soon.